Charlie Crist is a former governor of Florida, and when he was governor, he voted in favor of an amendment to the state's constitution that would ban same-sex marriages. Well, now he actually wants to run for his second term as a Democrat, and as a result, he's doing some interviews, and he spoke to a gay publication known as Watermark Online. And they asked him about why he voted in favor of that legislation, and he said the following. "I'm sorry I did that. It was a mistake. I was wrong. Please forgive me. My previous statements against gay marriage and gay adoption were politically expedient. They were, and it was wrong. That's what I'm telling you, and I'm sorry." Okay, so that was his first apology, but then he continued to say, "The examples you cited were examples of me trying to be a good Republican. I couldn't do it anymore, and I'm sorry I did. I made a mistake. I'm not perfect. Please don't hold me to that standard. And I'm sincerely sorry. I understand when it's necessary to say I was wrong. That's the journey I'm on, and I'm still on it." So that seems like a pretty sincere apology, and before he voted in favor of that amendment, he had said that he followed a live and let live policy when it came to gay rights, and then he went ahead and he voted in favor of that amendment anyway. So I do believe that he's in favor of gay rights, but I don't really understand why he ran as a Republican. I mean, he won as a Republican.
He was a Republican. I mean,
yeah.
He was a Republican. He'd been a Republican. I presume he'd been a Republican all his life, and and you have to, in order to stay a Republican and stay in the party that is, sends Marco Rubio to the Senate, sent Bob Martinez to the Senate, and in order to stay in that party's good graces, you got to act like a Republican, and he did. I don't know how many like him there are. Not only do I give him a pass, I give him a complete pass. I'm not even remotely skeptical of him. I mean, this is what you need. This is what we want. You want Republicans who are like, I can't be in this anymore. I can't be in it. I don't know. And if at any point they want to say, I can't do this, this party is full of bigots, which I'm paraphrasing slightly, but that's what he's saying, then I welcome them.
Yes, okay. Calm head would say what you said. But I would say that, the tricky part in what he said there for him is that those were politically expedient votes. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. What he's saying is, yes, I don't have much character. That I will vote against my conscience and my heart, and I will do what's wrong to get ahead politically.
Yeah, but okay,
so he's I know.
But
I'm
that's
just saying
what they do. And here's a guy who's saying I did that and it was a mistake. Like, it puts him at the top of the line.
Okay.
Like, he was wrong, but he's literally saying he was wrong. I mean, it's. So
he's also saying that he's a person who does the thing that's politically
expedient.
He was a politician. And
right
now, the thing to do that's politically expedient is admit that you're politically expedient. Wait, and let me make one point. So it's one thing if, like 5 years ago, he voted for that. That's a lot of time to change. It'd be one thing if it was like the difference between a 20-year-old and a 25-year-old.
Yes.
He was 52 when he voted against gay marriage there. And now he's evolving as a person?
Okay, so Barack Obama is a frickin' sellout politically expedient on gay marriage. I don't trust him on it, and I hate that he did it. He's a sellout.
Oh, good point, Ben.
No, it's a bullshit point. It's a bullshit point.
But Obama is in a completely different category because he never voted in favor of.
He's the guy who said I'm in favor of gay marriage, and then no, I'm only for civil unions. Please. Whoa, let's wait. Let's look. Okay, he didn't even do it. His vice president did it.
But being in favor of civil unions and then voting for legislation that bans same-sex marriage, I mean, those are two different things. You see what I'm saying? Like making it impossible in the state, or nearly impossible in the state, for same-sex marriage to happen. I think that's in a different playing field. But I do understand your point. Look, I was the first to criticize Obama when he said he was evolving on that issue, right? Obama always does what is popular. He looks at the polls and he goes ahead and he does what's popular, except for when it comes to gun control, apparently.
I just think that you need to truly understand American politics. You have to look at it you have to understand its complexity. And I know everybody here does, and I know most people watching do, but we are very quick to hammer people on hypocrisy when they make the same mistakes that we made. We know now better than anyone. We're not being led by a bunch of geniuses. Many of them are very bright guys, but this is a guy who'd been a Republican all his life. And so he thought, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and be governor of Florida. I'm going to try and succeed within this party. And you realize there's only one way to do this. So yeah, you make a terrible decision, which you are now completely undoing. I admire it because it gives more than admiring it. I don't care who gives a shit whether I admire Charlie Crist, first of all. But what he's done is provided actual insight for us. Like he has changed the way these conversations go by admitting that look what I had to do to be a Republican. He's not asking, he doesn't need our sympathy. We don't have to sympathize with him. But he's helped the thing along. He has helped more than most people who were just in favor of gay marriage. So if what you want is an end result where there's no gay marriage bans, Charlie Crist has helped more than most politicians.
So let me jump in very quickly. So I know I challenged you on the Barack Obama point, but I think I largely do agree with you because you don't want to deter politicians from evolving on certain issues like this, right? Like you don't want them to change their mind and then have them get criticized when they're on the right side. So I think it takes a lot of courage to come out and say, you know what, I was wrong. I've changed my stance on this issue, given the evidence. It doesn't necessarily even have to be gay rights as an issue. Right? Any issue. You want them to be able to accept evidence. And I think that's the big problem we have with politicians and the electorate today. Like you give them evidence on something like climate change, for instance, and they refuse to accept it. They have their values and their beliefs and they refuse to move on it. So I like the fact that he came out and he said this. And I'm also not really skeptical of him, especially given his record prior to how he voted. He did the wrong thing when he was a Republican, but at least he's apologetic about it.
Let me attack him one more time and understand when I attack him, what I'm attacking and what I'm not attacking. I'm not saying if you can point to an instance of hypocrisy, you should never support that person for higher office again. I'm not even saying don't vote for Charlie Crist against whatever other Democrats he's running against right now, of which I don't know the details of. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying that in this case, if he had gone the other way, it would have mattered necessarily. But we, as you said, we do understand that these are regular people and sometimes you have to make bad deals and you have to vote for things that you don't necessarily believe in. We totally understand that. That's a part of being a politician. But you also expect that they should have enough integrity that when it comes to certain things, they should be willing to go against the party. If we're voting on going into a major war that's going to be a disaster for the country, that's when I expect you to stand up. And in a related way, when we're voting to take away rights from a group of Americans, that's the point when it's no longer just making deals, to get other stuff done. We're not talking about like naming a post office or something. We're saying this group of Floridians are not going to be able to marry each other. When you're talking about taking away fundamental rights, that's when you're supposed to have the integrity and not just say, I'm a politician, I think.
It's a good point, no question. I think that we should also, it bears mentioning that I don't know the specific details of Charlie Crist's life, but he was also dealing with very strong allegations made in Miami that he himself was gay. Yeah. And that then when he finally got married, he only got married as a sort of to inoculate himself from that. Credible allegations from.
So he goes both ways on this issue.
He does. That's exactly right. So Charlie Crist
he's
also
going to come out
and
say that he's going the other way.
That's basically what he's saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
these are the double entendres I've been waiting to throw around this whole fun conversation.